There's a few subject-specific words and terms in this video, so to quickly cover them before we start. Operations are the actual processes which are being applied to given values. So essentially when you take two values and perform a process on them, like addition, multiplication, and stuff like that, that process is known as an operation. Operands are the given values inside of those operations, so from the last example, the values that you put into that are known as operands. So 2 times 2, your operands are 2. The quotient is the whole number part of your answer in division, so 17 divided by 8 gives an answer of 2 with a remainder of 1, the quotient then being 2, and the remainder, which is the leftover remainder part of the answer in division, is 1. Now arithmetic operations consist of addition, subtraction, and multiplication, real float division, integer division, and modulo division, and exponentiation, rounding, and truncation. So let's get into it. Addition is an operation where you add two operands together. So in this example, our operands are 16 and 2. Adding them together results in 18, and the result of addition is known as a sum. Subtraction is when you take one value away, you subtract it from another. Therefore, in this example, with the same operands, your answer is 14. Multiplication is when you times or multiply two values together. We're using the same operands again with a result of 32. Now we're getting into the three different forms of division. Real float division is an operation that divides one operand by another. Your result contains both the quotient and the remainder, which is the whole number and the remainder. Our example operands are now 17 and 2, so your answer will be 16 remainder 1. Essentially, this is just standard or normal division. Integer division has one operand divided by another again. However, now only the quotient is returned without the remainder, so this time our result is just 16. Modulo division is then, well, the opposite. It divides one value by another but only returns the remainder, no quotient, so now the result is 1. Now we're getting into the scarier looking, longer words, but it's still as simple. Exponentiation is raising one operand to the power of another. Squaring a number would be raising that number to the power of 2, and cubing it would be raising it to the power of 3. So here's our example. 16 raised to the power of 2, which is 256. This is just 16 times by 16. And your power states how many times you should have that number. So 16 to the power of 3 would mean that you need to have 3 lots of 16. 16 times by 16 times by 16. And I can't do that in my head, so the result will be on screen. Rounding is hard to explain, but easy to understand, I think. Essentially, it changes the given operand to be its closest whole number. The plus side of this would be that it makes the number easier to read and simpler to use. However, the negative side of this is that it's less accurate, though it is still close to its original value. Just remember, 4 or below, let it go, 5 or above, give it a shove. 152, when rounded to the nearest hundred, is 200. This is because the next number along is 5 or above, so you need to shove up the number, so we change the hundreds number to 2 instead of 1. Trying that on our next example, 16.72456, when rounded to 3 significant figures, we get 16.7, because 2 is in that 4 or below let it go bracket. Truncation just removes the decimal part of a number. This is essentially just rounding to 0 decimal places, but without checking what the next number along is. So for our example 16.72456, this will just become 16 when truncated, because we're just returning the whole part of the number. So let's just recap before we finish the video. Our arithmetic operations consist of addition, subtraction, multiplication, real float division, integer division, modulo division, exponentiation, rounding, and truncation. My sources for this video are listed here, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Thanks for watching.